Hey everyone, today we just drove down a road that they're slowly reopening for logging after years. Look in front of us. That is what it's just completely grown in. And right here, they haven't put the culvert pipe in, so we can't go any further down this overgrown road. I think I'll probably get stuck in that mud in front of me. You see they just made a new ditch to the left, and they just have it going across the road because the culvert pipe is not here yet. So I'm gonna carefully now back out of here. I can't see a thing. I can't see very well. Alright. I just went into four-wheel drive just to make sure I don't get stuck right here. I think I'm going to actually try to turn around. It should be stable enough, right? I hope. How deep is this mud in this ditch? It's not that bad. Try not to get stuck, because this road is very, very muddy right here. It's not that bad, I guess. Yeah, I can't see much because the back window is very muddy from driving on this. I'm getting way better traction than I thought, though. This is an absolute mud hole I'm driving in. Just gotta make, yeah, we're gonna make it. Look at all this shale rock they just threw here. They're gonna put shale rock all over that mud right there pretty soon. They just keep trucking it in. They use shale rock, which is pretty sharp. If you have garbage tires, you're gonna get a flat on this stuff. But they're not gonna truck in very good gravel, and they also don't want to pay for very good gravel. They gotta bring it in here. This is about at least 60 miles deep into the woods from any type of pavement or anything. So this is all brand new, reopened road. Some of the areas on the side of the road, you're gonna see the tree line is kind of beat up. It's because they brought machinery in here last year to cut down every tree growing in the middle of the road. Even beyond there where I started the video, I think that's just growth over the past year from the trimming last year. That's what's grown back in. And now they're out here with bulldozers to make the road passable again for very heavy trucks. But all the rain we're getting, you're gonna see some very soupy areas. I don't think they're gonna trust a big rig on this road for a while. This area is ready to be logged again. Last year, this road, early in the year, was completely impassable. Couldn't drive down here at all. But now we can. I wonder when they'll actually start logging it. If it stays muddy like this, they might just wait and do winter logging when the road is completely frozen, and they'll just put chains on the trucks. And they can also bring heavier loads out. Some of these areas, the road's slippery, just like ice. The mud, it can be very slippery in certain spots. But I'm more careful where I see it's tight, like the drainage ditch. There's a couple tight spots up here where you don't have much margin of error. Every now and then you got these spots here that were for the big rigs to turn around, or most likely 10-wheel dump trucks bringing the gravel, because the machinery probably drove in here itself. I doubt the flatbed even came in here. That was a pretty hard hit. The wheel just like threw a rock. Can you hear that? I don't think they brought the excavator out yet. Some of these drainage ditches look like they could use a little bit of improvement. Nothing terrible though. I don't think this road was abandoned too long. Brand new culvert. There is actually a bulldozer parked on this road a little further down. That's a pretty messy area. I already know that I have to get a pressure washer out when I get home, so I'm just going to drive through whatever we come across. Although the rain is rain is helping a lot. Yesterday was very dusty. This is what I'm talking about. See, this area looks very slippery, and you got a big drop on each side. They built that area pretty high and steep for the pipe. There's another spot. See, it's very high and maybe get stuck on the edges. So if I keep going a couple miles, I'll come back to the main road. But they're making like a fork. I want to see what goes, how far I can go down the other way. It's probably going to end most likely. This road is literally just to get logs out of the woods. It's not a main artery. This is not a permanent road. Once they're done logging in here, probably next year, they'll probably abandon it again. And it will stay passable if people use it for camping or hunting. But once something happens, a beaver washes out the road, a tree falls across the road that nobody wants to move, that's when it starts growing in and it's done. Here's another turnaround for a big truck. They build all these turnarounds as they go. It's also good for when they start logging, they can continue to use them, but they were using those to turn around all the dump trucks bringing the stuff in. A lot of people say that the shale rock has given them flats out here, but I have never got a flat by the shale rock, but I do notice if I have really garbage tires like I used to have, it never flattened them, but you'd see thousands of little cut marks all over the rubber. So it just, like little razor marks everywhere. I think to actually slice through, they're probably drifting through it or something. Or just had bad luck and one of them was standing up perfectly straight, like a big point. Rain is picking up again. Big improvement from the dusty conditions we had yesterday. I hate dusty roads. It's a lot of fun to drive down a dusty road, in my opinion. Love to watch the giant cloud behind me. A vehicle passes you, we gotta wait a couple minutes, the cloud is so big. Alright, here's the bulldozer. I'm gonna go this way. Straight is back out to the main road. I just want to see what's up here. And they're right there. That's where they're getting most of this gravel. See, they're just digging out bedrock, just breaking it up, and they're spreading it all over the road. Alright, so this doesn't look like it was improved that much, but I still want to see what's up here. The only thing I don't like about dusty roads is it will find its way in eventually. Every surface in here is covered in dust, and I gotta wipe it down. Alright, this road they didn't do much. It doesn't look like they really did anything, but it's still in good shape. I wonder if they're gonna use it or not. Alright, they did something here. A little bit of improvement to the ditch. Probably had an excavator out here. So this is not the road with this type of terrain you typically find a beaver. It's possible, but beavers usually don't build in this type of terrain. Although by the time we go back out to the main road, there is a beaver swamp there. You can tell it hasn't been occupied in maybe a couple of years, maybe 5 years, and they might be back someday. Yeah, this right here, I can tell they just did brush clearing. If you can see on the edge of the road, well, right here looks like they may have dug down to a pipe that was blocked. I don't know if they replaced it, because there's some good trees growing on the left above it, but yeah, they definitely filled in right here too. Did a bunch of work on this section of road, so they'll definitely be coming up and using this. Here's another culvert pipe. That's a metal one. That's not a new one though. bunch of logs ready to be hauled out, or are those abandoned? I can't really tell. They don't. Some of them are very rotten, so maybe those are abandoned piles. Although it doesn't look like they really started logging out here since they're still fixing the road. I don't think they're going to send a log truck through this muck. There's a lot of logs right here. I wonder if anyone's working here today. Yeah, they really started logging. That right there is the log skid, the machine that drags it out of the woods to get it to the road. Yeah, I think this is still going to be picked up. I just see a bunch of big hollow spots. Sometimes they abandon if they find invasive bugs or too much rot. But even rotten logs can be used for something. They'll turn it into wood chips and they'll throw it into a wood burning power plant, which northern New England has a ton of. That's how northern New England considers themselves like 90-something% green energy. They consider the burning trees renewable. So all the rotten logs from the logging companies, they turn them into chips. And if it's not good enough to be turned into pulpwood, meaning paper products, press board, that kind of stuff, plywood, no, I mean chipboard is what you call it, right? It would be turned into fuel. But I have found lots of logs just abandoned. Sometimes it's not even worth bringing them out for wood burning. Alright, this is kind of high. Making sure I don't bottom out in a few of them spots. I've never bottomed out this truck before. Yeah, it looks like they're doing an expansion project maybe, or just trimming the trees way back. They dug in some of these spots pretty deep. Nice road, just got to keep it semi-slow because some of the surface is slippery right now. Very curvy road. Right here's in the spot you wouldn't want to slip. Temperature's low today. It's 1 in the afternoon right now and it's only 59 degrees. A nice cool day. Today is the 9th of August 2023. That birch tree over there got girdled well. Not going to survive that unless I'm missing something. It looks like it took all the bark off of it. See these random humps we're driving over and the spots of the road that are seemingly very crooked. That's just bedrock that they didn't want to grind it down. It wasn't worth it for a temporary road. Just got to drive the trucks a little slower. The good thing about a log truck is some of their trailers, the landing gear, when it's put up, they can pull extra pins and the landing gear can be moved completely out of the way. I don't know why all tractor trailers aren't built that way. Then you'd never have them getting stuck on train tracks again. The log trucks do that because they got to go in some very tough spots. The landing gear can move out of the way further than a normal truck. Certain log trucks anyways, I've noticed that. I wonder how heavy that is to move out of the way, or if there's some mechanism that helps you lift it up. Or a secondary crank, I don't know. I'll have to take a good look at some trailers when I see them parked again out here. There's some more logs. This might be the end of the road again. It looks like it's going downhill. Maybe it's just a work zone that's all torn up by this guy. Although this is where somebody else stopped and turned around. Is it getting soft? Why'd this person stop? This road's getting bumpy. No other tire tracks. Oh, I think we're good though. It might end though right after this. These are really skinny logs. That's probably definitely going out to be pulp. That's not lumber of any type. I'm surprised. These are some of the most crooked logs I've seen that they're actually piling to get out of here. Yeah, it looks like they just created this or something. No one else has been down here. But it looks like it might end maybe. I don't know. No, it keeps going, it looks like. But I expect it to end very soon. This is getting bad fast. Here's a brand new culvert, a little teeny one. I can see that's put in incorrectly. I can see visually the exit is a little bit higher than the entrance. No, the road, it opens up nice again. It just gets a little rugged right here. Maybe, no, it looks like something smoothed it out. It looks like, I was gonna say a dump truck maybe just drove out of here while dumping it. It's too perfect though, I think. Although some dump truck drivers have such skill, if you don't have trees over your driveway and they can keep the back lifted up, they can do almost a perfect job where you barely even have to rake it out. Fortunately, when I had my gravel, I ordered 40 tons, I believe. Whatever can fit in two 10-wheel trucks, I got the maximum, and they couldn't do that because there's too many trees, so they couldn't do it evenly. And the truck got stuck in the driveway and had to dump it in a very inconvenient spot during mud season. All right, this road opened back up. Wonder how far it'll go. Probably maybe find a nice turnaround circle if they already went to the other end. Is this the turnaround? Maybe. This is the end of the line, it looks like. Yes, it is. Turnaround. Yeah, some of these ditches you can tell are very temporary unless they plan on doing more work. Can you see how steep the walls on that ditch were? It's literally a ditch like you dig to put a pipe in. It's got no curvature to the hill where plants could grow on it to help strengthen it. Just like this one right here. Let me see if I can get a good angle to show you. Do you see how steep this ditch is? There's like a, if I was standing down there, that'd be up to my neck. That's how flat that wall of the ditch is. That's gonna eventually cave in, I think. I think this is all just completely temporary. They don't really care what happens in a couple months or a year. They just don't. They just want it to be passable right now. This is a temporary road. All right, so we're going back out now to the main road. So up here, I'm basically the only tracks after whatever went through here. Maybe it was the bulldozer backing up with its blade down. It's just weird that I'm the only set of tracks. Something just went through here making this nice and smooth. It's a very bumpy fill that came out of that little gravel pit at the end, which I'm going to pull into and just show you guys a little better. Those are some really big trees. Did those things grow in 40 years? Most pulpwood is cut down after 40 years. Lumber, usually white pine, has to go about 70 years. I'm just looking for a good spot to park for a minute. I actually want to count the rings on one of these trees. I'm curious. I just pulled up a little because there was a lot of mud right there when I opened the door. I guess it doesn't matter since I got the big high boots on, but I just want to count some of the rings on just one of these trees. I'm very curious. Can we see the rings well? The way it's messed up, not on that tree. I'm looking for a good one that's fairly big. I just want to see how old this tree is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Yeah, between 40 and 50, I'd say. Alrighty. most of these trees are probably about the same age. Some of them just got a better shot at growing. Where'd they come from, these trees? Look how hollow that one is. That one looks kind of cool. Did they log these out of the road? Is this like a brand new road? Is that where these logs came from? Because I don't see anywhere that this guy's pulling them. Oh, now I do. Now I see it. He's got a little road right here. Yeah. That's why they need that rugged thing. Yeah, just... I want to back up. I want you to see this guy's road. Not many people would be able to drive up there. Look at this. I'm going to drive slow because I don't want to get stuck. Look at this guy's road that he's got to get the logs on. Look at this. It's so steep. How much of a grade do you think that is? Close to 30%? I don't know. I feel like that maybe I'd be able to go up there. I feel like maybe. But I'm not chancing that. Especially in their work zone. How I get kind of angry if they had to get me out of there. They couldn't have just built this road. I saw that metal pipe earlier. That was obviously put in a bit ago, but still in good shape. Looks like another area they're pulling gravel out of. Anywhere they got shallow bedrock, they just bring the bulldozer in there or an excavator. They rarely actually have to use a jackhammer. Shale rock is so brittle, those heavy machines can just smash it themselves. They don't even need a machine to process it. Rain's picking up again. Back like a month ago when Vermont had all those big floods, when they got like 5 inches of rain in an hour, they didn't know where that was going to happen. All of New England basically had that same flood watch. They didn't know where the bullseye was going to be. So those couple of days I purposely avoided roads like this because I knew there was the potential of them all washing out. I went to visit northern Vermont in a video last month, and it was like a maze. It was so hard to even find your way around. Every dirt road was just, the culverts were just missing everywhere, and they weren't marked. There was no detour signs, just a few homemade ones made by people who live around there, it appeared. They were so overwhelmed with all the bridges and culverts missing from the water going up so fast. 5 inches of rain in an hour period is a lot. Like, personally, at my house, we got 2 inches once in 20 minutes, but that's not the same. It's not as big of an amount. That's when I made that little teeny flash flood video. You can see it slowly traveling over the yard. But that 2 inches in 20 minutes, the woods for the most part absorbed it. The rivers barely even spiked. The streams in the woods reacted to it fast. They fall fast and they rise fast. The bigger rivers are the ones that are more concerning. Where's this guy getting his logs from? Are they just from this clearing to the left, or does he have a road too? Oh, I see a bunch of tight little roads. Yeah, this guy's roads are very rugged. It don't even think it'd be possible for me to even attempt them. I think we're just about back to that bulldozer, right? This morning when I woke up, I've now driven 54 miles. First thing I did when I woke up was go to the giant fuel tank culverts. They had a blockage again, first time after 2 years since the beaver location, the beaver relocation. A new beaver has found their way there, and I could tell by the way the dam was built. It was a pretty inexperienced beaver, but they'll learn very quickly. I expect a much bigger dam the next time we go there, because every time you remove a beaver dam, they think it washed out, it failed. So they think they have to build it back stronger and stronger. That's why the beaver dams get bigger, wider every single time. More rugged materials, more rocks added into it. At least on days like this when it's muddy, they rarely ever run the log trucks because they'd get stuck. I've been out here a couple days now, and I haven't actually passed more than like 2 log trucks. Yesterday I did. It was very dusty out. Last night sleeping, a couple of them went by me in the middle of the night because I just slept on the edge of a very wide road since there was a little bit of a cell signal. Here we are to the bulldozer. Now let's take a little look at their gravel pit or quarry, whatever you want to call it. A lot of times these gravel pits will turn into ponds when they abandon them. Maybe not this one. This doesn't look like it would seal very well. But yeah, this is where all the gravel's coming from. So there was an excavator somewhere. They've obviously taken it somewhere else now. That was loading it into the trucks. Maybe it had a jackhammer, I don't know. I've seen them just easily break it up by pushing the bucket down on certain shale rocks. They're just that brittle. Yep, this is the same road that last year I saw a moose in the main road and ran up here, so I quickly backed up and pulled in here. But after a few hundred feet, after branches started scraping the sides of the vehicle, I turned around. This road was so tight, but you can tell by the edges of the trees, they used trimmers like a year ago. It's since grown in. This used to be a beaver problem. I can tell this whole area has been flooded in the past. But by the growth, it's been maybe 3 years, I think. That's got many secondary pipes to help it too. It's got the big one in the center, and I saw a couple towards the end while we were leaving. What do we got here? I didn't go up this road yet. Let's do it. Let's see what's up here. Goes up above the beaver swamp. Never know what we might find. Also recently improved. Look at all the tree stumps on the edge of the road. You see that? See all these tree stumps? This was so tight like a year ago, or this looks like it was trimmed even more recently. You got all these tree stumps on the edge of the road, if you can see that, some of them up to 1 inch in diameter. Those would have been pretty substantial trees, about as tall as myself, maybe a little taller. And they would have been hanging into the road, and they'd be scraping. They just cut them all down. That used to be a turnaround. This was logged at some point, at least 5 5 years ago or so. See the big trees in the middle? Look at those. The rest of it is having trouble growing in because the machines packed the ground down so much. It probably left so much debris on the ground, like bark, wood chips, and made things not grow back as fast. Just like when you put mulch in a garden to stop weeds from growing, it stunted the forest in that spot from growing back as fast. A nice dark spot. Surprised they didn't trim up top. Trucks will hit that. This road's getting a little bad again. How long do we think it's gonna go? I have not been up here ever before. It's not on any map. We are now at 55.8 miles. What do you guys think? I'm gonna say we'll make it to 58 miles before it ends. How long do you think this is gonna go before it comes to an end like those other two did? I'll say 58, so that means I got 2 more miles to go. Just a guessing game. These roads, you never know. The road itself probably goes well beyond 2 miles, but what they've worked on, I don't know. There's another fork. It forked off again. It's like a maze out here. You could drive on logging roads every day, all day, for months, and you would never be able to go down every single one. There's so many of them in Maine. I'll never explore them all. There's too many. Up here, or we're getting high enough in elevation where we're getting some mist up the hill. All the mountains and hills from a distance look misty today. You can see it a lot when it clears up between rain. Like the rain has calmed down right now. It's just sprinkling. Like it's getting tight again. This road, I can tell by the brush, the little stumps, this would not have been passable to a vehicle for a while before they did this. So we even got some stumps in the middle of the road. the end of the line? Yeah. This is the dead end. This is the end of the line, so 57.3. Didn't even go another 2 miles. Alright, go back a bit. You can explore that one other little fork that we saw. So when we get to this next fork, the one way I didn't go, do we have any predictions of how long that will go? I'm going to say less than 2 miles. Let's see when we get to that. So this area, it'll be logged at some point, maybe in the winter. Looks like they didn't even have to do anything. The road was still in perfect condition, it looks like. It doesn't look like they really graded it. It was just in good condition underneath all that trees. Nice, the mist up there in those trees. Now we're driving down into a little bit. In person, it's a lot more dense. Cameras can see through fog. They improve basically any visibility. Cameras, if it's a snowstorm, the camera can see through it better than you. I like drizzly days like this. Nice, cool, drizzly day. Great for the forest and environment to really just absorb everything without any flooding. Doesn't cause like washouts on the road going so slow. This area I think had to have been graded, maybe a little bit. That was a big rock back there on the side of the road that got pulled out of somewhere. Here we go. I say it'll end maybe within 2 miles. We're at 58.5 exactly, so let's see how far this will go. Curious. This road is not nearly as smooth as the others. Oh, look at this. This must be right above the beaver swamp, because when I pulled in this road, I said that, and I just didn't go down here. Yeah, we met up. This area has been flooded. That's why every single tree in there to the left is dead. It's been flooded by beavers, but they've obviously been taken care of. It's got years of growth since the beavers were last there. Branching off again, yeah. That one looks. Yeah, this whole area is about to be cut down. It looks like they're just branching off like crazy out in this spot. Here's another branch. It doesn't look like they're opening it though. this road wasn't abandoned too long. Maximum 8 years. See these clearings? This is where the log piles were stacked back the last time they did it. And you can even see the road in there, not even grown in. It just has goldenrod and stuff growing in it, not even trees. You see the forest next to me? I think it was definitely thinned at some point, but that growth is within 20 years, on the right side at least. You see they left a couple of really tall, mature trees the last time they cut it down, with the hope of dropping seeds. I don't know how well that actually works. A lot of times they will leave them, like, they'll cut down a whole forest of white pine, and they'll leave like 1 out of every 50 of them standing, hoping it drops pine cones and replants the area by itself. But usually the pine trees don't even grow back. It's other things like maple and aspen which grow fast and are invasive. So any seeds that did end up dropping from those trees got snuffed out anyways. Doesn't really work. Works best when they physically go out and put seeds in with a machine, or even little seedlings with a machine, which I've seen them do before. And then it looks like a giant Christmas tree farm. It looks really beautiful. This might be the end of the line. Yeah, it's basically the end of the line. Yep. You see up here? I could drive up there like another 100 feet, but that's it. Doesn't go any further. So how far did I just go? We're at 59.6. Mile 0.1. Yeah. Well, I knew it wasn't going to go far. Hundreds of little tree stumps all over the place. Hundreds of them. I don't think this was passable. So here's another little fork. Yeah, that, it goes up like 50 feet and is very overgrown, like this probably was. It doesn't look like they're going to use that little bit. Somewhere we saw another one, didn't we? Right here. This looks like they're going to be using it too. Let's go down there. It goes down to a low spot. And that beaver swamp is right there too, if we went the way we came. So who knows, maybe the beavers will be down here. This is not going to go far either. Look at this. You can see the machine track still here. Yeah, look how narrow this road is. Imagine when these trees still had branches. My wheelbase is just fitting in here perfectly. This was very overgrown very recently. Not quite, but it looks like it's about to end. This looks like the end of the line. Yep. As far as they got, it looks like they're probably going to do more improvements. I can't even tell where the road would have gone. Or maybe this is about it. Maybe this is as far as they're going for whatever reason. That didn't go far at all, but I'm glad I came down here because that was kind of cool. Seeing all these little teeny tree stumps and how grown in it must have been just a few weeks ago. I don't think this was cut down more than a few weeks ago. Out. Now we'll shortly be back to the next more dominant road. Then soon we should be back out to the main artery. Yeah, so right here, this is where the beavers, you can tell, used to flood the road. They killed every tree in there by drowning them a couple years back at least. Once they turn into a swamp like that, takes a while for it to completely grow back in. It'll look like that for a while with all the aquatic swamp grass. I actually had a beaver today that was building a dam. It actually smelled good pulling it apart because they used some kind of very sweet smelling herb I could tell was mixed into it. It smelled very familiar. They also used cedar wood, which they usually don't use unless they're desperate, because that tastes bad. And so here's a flooded area. They need a culvert there. Probably won't happen. The road's temporary. Unless it gets muddy, they'll just leave it, let it cross over the top. Chocolate milk. More chocolate milk. Look at that. It looks just like chocolate milk all over the place. Stopped, just sprinkling right now at the moment. This road will get smooth fast once a bunch of big rigs start using it. Look at that really bright colored tree getting ready for fall. Bright orange tree. It's off to the side. It doesn't look like it got hit by anything that would stress it out. Certain trees, usually the weaker ones, even though it's August, you're already going to start seeing a little bit of fall colors happening. But it usually completely, the bulk of it waits until October. We still got almost 2 months left of growing season, just about. Sometimes we're lucky we get into October. Growing season usually ends in September, especially up here in this climate zone. This year the bears aren't as big of a problem. All the rain is bringing lots of berries, lots of blueberry bushes everywhere. So there haven't been as big of a menace in the garbage cans. Haven't even had to put preventative measures in the garbage anymore to make it smell bad to a bear, like ammonia in there. They're staying away because there's so many berries and food being produced. This year, I haven't seen a pine cone in a couple of years. Now they're everywhere. The trees are producing a lot of sap now, dripping in it. It looks really nice when the sun shines through a lot of the pine and fir trees, just glimmering in the sun, sparkling everywhere. Drips all over the place. The trees are just covering themselves in sap. It protects them against bugs. And here we are back out to the main artery. And this will go to an even more main artery. So this road we're entering now, speed limit's 35. Most of those roads there I was going off 15 or 20 on them, but now we can go a bit faster. This road is very smooth, packed down by all the heavy trucks. This is a very smooth road. We just drove over a pipe that had a log jam at it last winter. I hope today's video was interesting, everybody, of just driving around up on those roads that they're currently improving for the log trucks. Thanks for watching and have a great day.